Today we're going to talk about time and movement in the dungeon and how to simplify it. So, being a game master, you usually have a lot of things going on. You are handling the communication with the players, you are trying to create an atmosphere, you work on describing things, and you have to track time, and you have sometimes maybe you have to read ahead a little bit in your module to be prepared for what's around the corner. And to handle all this without too much stress, I really think that the game master must simplify stuff as much as possible. And one of the things that I think is overly complex in normal D&D rules are dungeon exploration and tracking movement and tracking time. And it's also a bit sometimes not for new game masters not totally clear about how this works. So I thought I'd talk about it. So once again, to demonstrate it, I'll use the excellent free adventure module, Tome of the Serpent Kings. So movement. Moving in a dungeon, like most rules, they have that a party moves at 120 feet per turn. And that is like when they are exploring, so they move carefully, try to move quietly, etc. So as not to attract too much attention and have a chance to discover signs of traps or stuff like that. So we just make an example. Say we have this party, the red dot. They're outside the dungeon entrance, and they say, "Okay, we're moving to the dungeon." All right. How far can they move? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So they could actually go through this hallway. You probably would describe on the way that you see hallways running off into small chambers to the left and right at two different places. And then you'll describe that through the hallway, at the end of the hallway, there's a door. But then what? Maybe the rogue says, "Okay, I'll check the door if there's any traps or something strange about it." All right, fair enough. And then the bard says, "Oh wait, but I want to check maybe one of those rooms." Meanwhile, he's checking the door. Yeah, and the warrior says, "Okay, I'll walk back to the entrance just to keep a watch so we ain't being followed." Yeah, okay, fine. So right now you have your rogue here. You have a bard going into room 3, and you have your warrior going back towards the entrance. And then something happens. Maybe they don't find any traps. But this is a room. There's something else happening here, right? So it's a bit confusing. And add to that also that when everything happens, how much time is being spent on stuff, and also we have wandering monsters, random encounters. There's a lot of things going on. But say they open the door and they continue. They enter the room, and then I, as a game master, I describe the room, and they see a lot of things, but maybe they just want to continue, so they walk south into this smaller chamber. And how far have they moved? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then some. You want to describe this? But they have like 50 feet movement left after the description. Should you, if they want to, should they keep going? As you probably understand, I think this is a not so practical measure of a party's movement in a dungeon. What I do and what I suggest to simplify matters is to use room movement instead. So in room movement, basically everything is divvied up into rooms, and you don't have to do it like I do here to outline it. That is just for your, so it's easier to see the difference between not using it. But then I use the rule one unexplored room per turn. So that means if we do the same thing, okay, the party wants to enter the dungeon. So then I just move them into this hallway. And that is one turn. And I describe everything. I describe the same thing, that there are hallways going. There are 4 different hallways, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, into some chambers. At the end of the hall, you see a door. But I don't worry that much about their exact position. Like, do they walk all the 120 feet to here? I just think that they are in this hallway or this room, and now they can do stuff. So now, usually what happens is the same thing. The rogue, he says, okay, I'll check the door for traps. All right. So then in my head, the rogue is here, checking the room for traps. Then I usually ask, okay, this will take a turn. What do you guys do? Are you just waiting? No, the warrior says, no, okay, I'll go and I'll keep an eye out so we ain't being ambushed or followed. Okay, fine, then you're there. And then maybe the bard, then he wants to go into room 3. And then I handle it basically as if he just entered a room and I describe that. But this all happens within another turn. So say that there's no traps on the door, there's no one following them, and the bard hesitates because he thinks it's dark. There's some he's got a bad feeling, so he stops and he just waits. All right, and the party says, okay, let's open the door and enter that room. Fine, I just move them into that room. That's one turn. I describe everything. I give them maybe hints if there's traps or something, and then they tell me what they want to do. Maybe they just keep on going. Then I move them to the next room. So totally they have moved through 3 rooms. That's 3 turns. They have spent 1 turn searching for traps on the door. So that's totally 4 turns. And I simplify everything like that. So 1 room, 1 move. And will it be exact the same as 120 feet? No. Some rooms are very small. Some rooms are bigger. Some hallways, I treat hallways usually as a room, unless they're absurdly long. But it doesn't really matter. It is something to just for me to simplify, to use to keep track on time and movement. And it's also something that give the players some sense of the time as well, because they usually know every time they enter a new room or hallway, a turn, 10 minutes will have passed. So, but I'm a bit more lenient when they go back. Usually I separate an explored room or an unexplored room. So if they've already explored a number of rooms, they maybe come into the dungeon 5-7 rooms and they want to go out. Then usually I double the speed so they can move 2 rooms, because right now they don't have to take in everything. They already know more or less this is the room. Maybe they've already searched the traps, so they are a bit more relaxed. And of course, if they want to like be really really fast, I could actually allow them to move 4 rooms on a turn. But then I would give a penalty to both the for ambushes, if they trigger traps or something like that. Then there would be then they will have different kind of penalties. So usually the party don't want to do that. So how to keep track of time? Are there any tools? Yes, they are. I use something that I call a time wheel. It is just a simple sheet of paper. I've shown a picture here, but I have it like in real paper format, lying on my desk when we play, and then I just have a token or 2 on it to track things. So it's very easy. This is something you can do yourself, or if you want to, I could maybe make it available for you to print out and yourself. But basically, this wheel down here in the center, this is for tracking turns. So it says 10 minutes, 20 minutes, etc. And this is for tracking hours. So say they enter a room, I move this. And I roll for random encounters and everything. And then they say, okay, we'll search through this room really, really carefully. Fine. Because everything takes 1 turn in my games. If they have a fight, after the fight, that fight took a turn. And when I've done almost a full circle, I've made a little torch icon there. That is to remind me that the torch is starting to run out. And I tell them, okay, the light on your torch is flickering. It won't have much use left. So it's time for you to change it. And once I have done an entire pass around, then I move the hour marker. And on the hour marker, you can see I have made some notes when it's time to refill the oil in, if they have a lantern, every 4 hours. So easy stuff like that. Sometimes I just use my dice and I put them on these spaces to keep track, and then I roll for random encounters when I need to, etc. Just to clarify then. So if we would do the same example again with this dungeon. I have too many screens. It's confusing. Okay, so the party is have decided to enter the dungeon. Good. You enter the dungeon. I describe the hallway and everything, the mood and everything going on. I roll for random encounters. I move forward the time, and then I ask them, what do you do? Maybe they just want to go on. Maybe they decide to search one of the chambers. Okay. So they say, okay, which chamber? Okay, we want to search this chamber to the left here. Fine. I move them there. I move the time. I roll for random encounters. And I describe the room. And then maybe they want to be very, very thorough in this room to search everything. And just in case there's a secret door or something. Fine. I just move the time. One more step. And then I tell them if they find anything. So this is how I run my dungeons. I don't keep track of movement rates. I just use rooms. and everything they do take a turn. And sometimes when there's only one player who take initiative and they say, oh, I want to do this, I want to search the statue, or I want to check the floor if there's something, if there's tracks or something like that. Then I usually ask the other players, do you want to do something particular? And if they want to, maybe they can do it at the same time, just to keep so not all time is being lost. If first they search for footprints or tracks, and then after that, when they're done, then suddenly one player gets an idea. Oh, by the way, I put on my armor. Okay, then it's sometimes better to just ask. You other guys, do you want to do something while David is checking for traps? Yeah, I put on my armor. Yeah, I'll prepare my magical quiver with my arrows, so they're ready. Something like that. Just so they feel that they have a chance to do stuff while maybe one or two players are doing stuff. All right, so this is basically the idea. Keep it simple, keep it easy, use small tools in order for you to not having to track things in your head, because you have to use that noggin of yours to describe things, be attentive to your players, and to keep the world alive. All right, thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next video.